Host is always Chad Bordeaux, and joining me is the glorious one himself, Marcus Green. Don't get confused with Bobby Roode. Marcus stays consistently booked 24/7. Marcus, how are you?
Good, thank you, sir. It'll be known.
Yep, there's only one glorious one we rep here, and it's not that dude over there in Connecticut. So this is top 10 talents that Impact needs to build around today. My list is going to be just wonkadoodles because Marcus took all of mine. So this is going to be interesting. I'm up first, number 10. Granted, this one's not too crazy. It's the Motor City Machine Guns. I don't know how long they're sticking around for. I hope forever because they're brilliant. Personally, the MCMG fall in the same boat as the North for me, where they're both so good that they're both headline main event talents, but also needed in the tag team division. So, if you can finagle Shelley into a main event scene, I think him as world champion one day would be awesome, and it would be a great kind of culmination to his career and his comeback. So, let's see it. Marcus, you're up. Who'd you got at the next slot?
For me, man, I'm going with the walking weapon, Josh Alexander. Yeah, I mean, anybody's fan of the North, you know, they are great together. But we talked about it on the show before. They would also be great separately, but we want them to stay together. Just because it's hard to put two guys together like that and they come out as great as it has with the North. But Josh Alexander, I mean, he don't have that nickname of walking with him for no reason. I love the headgear. I love his style. That not necessarily saying a lot, but he gets all of it done in the ring. And he doesn't say a lot because he doesn't need to. But yeah, I mean, he's got the look. He's got everything. I mean, he did a shout out to I think Kurt Angle when he did a moonsault, and Kurt Angle freaking replied to him and he fangirled a little bit. It was adorable on Twitter. But yeah, man, Josh is that dude, and it will be interesting to see him get a singles run to see what he could do outside of the tag thing. But I think seeing him maybe run into a guy like Madman Fulton or somebody like that, it'll really be cool to see.
I'm down with that. Josh Alexander rules. My next pick is actually going to be someone of that kind of ilk where he stands out definitively from the crowd, and that's Falaba. Alexander has that Rick Steiner circa 2020 vibe. Falaba has a much more athletic, much more charismatic Yokozuna vibe. He's a throwback wrestler to the old days, 25, 30 years ago, but he's charismatic and he works really well for a guy his size. He's also dedicated and committed to his craft because he's lost about 100 plus pounds in about 14, 16 months. He's doing it healthy. He's doing it the right way. He's looking phenomenal. And he's going to be a guy that I think when he hits a certain point might be the kind of guy you'd want to put a title on. They definitely deserve a tag team title run at some point, even though his tag team partner is TJP. TJP can work like a workhorse, but he's got the charismatic vacuum of a black hole. So, Falaba is going to need to carry a lot of that, charismatically speaking. But definitely for me, Falaba is the next one up. Marcus, your turn. Who's your next pick? I think we're on 7, 6, 7, 8, 6, 3, 6.
Well, but yeah, my next pick is the other half of the North and one All Ego Ethan Page. This guy, for me, in terms of presentation and appreciation, has come leaps and bounds from where he started at because I think he was initially before he got with Josh Alexander. What was he like he was kind of he was playing a sidekick to who was the guy's name? Who was playing sidekick to? It wasn't RVD.
Matt Sydal.
It was
they were doing the dumb open up your third eye gimmick.
Yes. May that never happen ever again. Yeah, but he wasn't doing anything for me, and all of a sudden, Sydal disappeared, and Ethan did a couple things on his own, but didn't really get no steam, and then he linked up with the North, and it's been brilliant ever since. Not only has he found, who he is in the ring, to me more, he has absolutely been one of the most entertaining guys on and off the show. Like this guy on the mic is hell entertaining. He's got the look. He's getting in even better shape now. Like I said, him and Alexander have been brilliant together. But it would be cool if they felt they needed to do it to see what he would do now as this, as this true version of all ego. Now I think he's finally living up to that name. And yeah, man, the guy's somebody. He's a true gem. He's a true workhorse and champion for the company, which is not what you get a lot of times because some people are just passing through, or some people are just there for the check. But he really is an Impact fan, and this is certainly somebody you want to get behind because loyalty is not easy to come by these days.
Nope. I do miss Chandler Park. I wonder what happened to him. Next up, I'm going with another Canadian. We got a lot of Canadians on this list. Shocking. I'm going with the Deaner, Cody Deaner. He's not the kind of guy that you want to be stone cold rocking, Sting Goldberging to the headline spot. But in terms of making sure he's on TV every week, given segments every week, you can't go wrong with Cody Deaner because he's always kind of the guy. He's the average Joe, maybe a little below average. He's below average Mike Sanders. But he's the kind of guy that can be relatable to a lot of people. He's always funny. He's not above, shilling out or jobbing out. He's the right kind of guy for the right kind of company. And if you really give him a shot, I think he can do a lot of things with you in terms of tag team division. Maybe if you do a TV title division, bring that back. He's the kind of guy that you could put out there and actually have a lot of success with. So, Cody Deaner. Marcus, next one up.
But for me, I'm going with the Beige Night Delight, the new X Division champion, and quickly becoming a king of puns, which we are both extremely high fans of.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with Chris Bay. He's young, he's hip, he's got charisma out the wazoo, the swag, and all that good jazz. Young black talent, all that good stuff. And the sky's the limit for this guy. I mean, he's like I said, he's super young. He's just getting started, but he's captivating. And he just knocked off Willie Mack, who is a force in his own right. But for somehow we talked about this, I think before and after Slammiversary. He's kind of leapfrogged guys like Mack and Swan in terms of likability, which is hard against guys like that. But somehow he's doing it, and like I say, he's becoming the king of puns, and he's in more segments and stuff like that. And I just think he's only going to get better. And I think he's a good champion, and I think he's another guy like what I talked about with Aries that you could take and have him rise through that X division, or maybe to elevate with something more down the line. So Chris Bay all the way, man.
So if you've never seen Chris Bay, here's the best way I can describe him in terms of body type, athleticism, overall personality. You know how Goku had Dark Goku and is like the just an evil alter ego or a clone or whatever the hell he was of Goku? Well, Chris Bay is the evil version of Kofi Kingston. If Kofi Kingston was just an evil sumbitch, it'd be Chris Bay. So that's what you're kind of getting with Chris Bay. And that's like, if you know my fandom of Kofi, that's high praise. So Bay is also very much his own unique entity in of itself, just not even outside of wrestling, but in the X Division as a whole. He is someone who has really taken the idea of cheating to a new level beyond what Eddie Guerrero did, because for Eddie, they the gimmick was that they were like, oh, we're going to cheat, but we're not going to tell you. Like, oh, we're sneaky. But with Bay, it's like, no, I'm going to cheat. Like, you're going to see me cheat, and you're still not going to be able to do anything about it because I'm that good at cheating. And that's something that really brings to the table that no one else has. Yes, Marcus?
Yeah, and then he follows it with something great. Like, I think going back and then looking at it, the reason, like, he came up with a new move that he was practicing. He had put it out on Twitter. He was going to do like it's like basically a springboard crucifix bomb, but he didn't really get it on Willie, which is why he ended up hitting that springboard cutter, which still looks great. Like, he gets on that is nuts. But, yeah, like the king of the finesse thing, like, yeah, I'm going to cheat, and then I'm going to do something swaggy to piss you off even more. It's like, damn, that kid's good. So I think that's a part of the finesse. And like I said, his backstage segments are even more hilarious. And the fact that they pairing him with somebody like maybe – is coming up on Chad's list, the Swing Man, brilliant.
If only. The Swing Man did not make my list. But next one up who did is Jordan Grace. And I'm going to tell you what. Like, Jordan's an attractive woman. I think we can all admit that. But her hair, her combo, everything that was going on with Slammiversary, like, she went from, like, here to here. I was like, oh, damn. I like how her hair's framed. Oh, God. Is the match over yet? I need a break. She just looks so stunning. But the thing beyond Jordan, besides her attraction, is that she's a legitimate kind of like workhorse. You put her in the women's division, the Knockouts division, and there are a few women, maybe Taya Valkyrie, who physically looks like they can go with her. That's why I'm kind of disappointed they ended her title run with giving it to Deonna Purrazzo, because, you know, Jordan is just so much more, just ready for a long run than anyone else in the division. She constantly works out. She's a bodybuilder, and she just looks like she could tear you in half. And to have someone like Purrazzo, who, you know, definitely needs to shore up some of her aspects of her game, it disappoints me. But I think if you double down, Grace is the Scott Steiner of the women's division, and I don't mean that in some facetious way. She does a lot of the things in the women's division that you want your women's wrestlers to do. So when you're watching the Knockouts division, only Grace can really do these things. And it reminds me of a 1992, 1993 Scott Steiner when he was the best worker in the world, and that's not hyperbole. So hopefully, unlike Steiner, her back doesn't give out, because Steiner's back went out when he was in like 95, 96, and it really hampered him. Hopefully Grace doesn't have to deal with that, because she's looking at a very long, lucrative, successful career, and I think this is only the beginning. Kudos, and like my sixth pick would have been Rosemary, just so we're clear. She just missed the list.
Yeah, I mean Jordan is great. The probably the best examples of fit thick that's out there.
Mm-hmm.
Natural fit thick, not I went and had 3 surgeries and all of a sudden I'm a freaking fitness guru.
Why you gotta hit on Cody Rhodes? Fuck you, Cody.
Yeah, man, Jordan, man, and hopefully she sticks around for a while, man. Because another thing I loved about that match, Slammiversary, she is extremely expressive.
Yep.
Which goes a long ways, especially for somebody who really could just be like, you know, in her position, like an old school Undertaker, where they just didn't sell.
Mm-hmm.
Great, love it.
Next one up, Marcus.
Next one up, man. We got the returning chosen one, the Carter of Destiny. You know, Mr. Change Your Narrative himself, talking to EC3. This is not the guy from the Will video. It's the same guy, but it's not the same guy. And he has made some statements, both verbally and on latest edition of Impact, certainly one physically, to the legend known as Moose. And yeah, I mean, look, he was brilliant in Impact. He literally grew on me. Like at first, when he first started, I didn't really have any feelings for him, and then he slowly but surely grew on me. And obviously, he departed from the company. I think he went back to other waters with a chip on his shoulder to prove something, and that went left. And I think he has an even bigger chip on his shoulder now that he's back home, if you will. So, yeah, man. I mean, like I said, I don't think it's anybody that just feel like they got more to prove than him. He's still young, in hella great shape, and I don't know where this new character is going, but I'm fully on board to see where it goes. So, you definitely put your chips down on EC3. That's somebody you lock in for some years, by the way. So
free C3. My number one is going to just boggle the mind, but I'm sticking with it. I'm going with it, and I'm doubling down on it. And it's 56-year-old Ken Shamrock. I'm not even slightly joking when I say that Ken Shamrock should be the one to take the belt off of Eddie. I don't need him to have a 2-year run with the belt. But just to have like that, even if it's a fluke, like, you know, maybe he rolls Eddie up or gets him in an ankle lock after 15 minutes of you know, Eddie working him. But that would just be, I think, the greatest way to, you know, to not necessarily close out Ken's career, because maybe he wants to go longer, but it would be that nice, you know, peak of the mountain for him. Considering what he can bring to the table, not just as a in-ring competitor, which is still quite good at 56, but as someone who can, work backstage, teach guys how to grapple better, teach guys how to work submissions better, and maybe one day be a producer or like an on-screen figure, I think Ken could really be something important for this company long term, kind of like how Sting should have been. So, Marcus, who's your top guy?
That's a great pick. And what I've loved about Shamrock is I've seen people very much changing their mind and getting in the lane and cheering. Like, man, Shamrock's kind of hitting. Like, when you see somebody do what he did at Slammiversary with that damn dive, like, I don't know what that was, but God bless him. He's clearly committed, and the stuff he's been entertaining. Maybe not so much when he runs. Well, it is entertaining just from not we're laughing at him, not with him. But yeah, you gotta love Shamrock. My number one, I'm going with the new TNA World Heavyweight Champion, the deserved new TNA World Heavyweight Champion, Eddie Edwards. Look, man, like I said, with Ethan Page, loyalty is hard to come by, and he's been with this company since 2014 we said.
Mm-hmm.
And he got multiple championships, all kinds of moments, show stealing matches, you name it, he's done it, and now he's back on top of his second reign and more determined than ever to not be one of many revolving door champions that we've had over the last few years. So yeah, man, you put the full ball behind Edwards and you just bring him challenges, man. He's good on the mic, he's great in the ring, and got one of the best theme songs. So he's got it all, man. Anything is possible, and then Edwards is proving that you definitely got a guy that can spearhead your company, and somebody who's not gonna come up with a freaking sexual assault charge. So that's,
Good guy Eddie is a good guy to build around.
Yeah.
That'll do it for this week. We'll be back on Sunday for another recording of these. If you want to tune in, you can do so at twitch.tv/WrestlingUnderground. We're also on YouTube, obviously, because that's where you're listening us. So be sure to subscribe if you want. We're also on the website, realnerdcorp.com, RealNerdCorp.com. If you want to follow our past podcasts and anything else that we got going on the website, do so by going there, realnerdcorp.com. See if you like something you want to listen to and tune in. We put it out there for you. Mark's can be found on Twitter at ParadoxKid, ParadoxKid.
That's me.
You can also find him on his other podcasts, The True Penny Show, on Twitter at True Penny Show, TruePennyShow. That's True Penny Show, TruePennyShow. Yeah, I spelled that right. You can also find me on Twitter at Chad NerdCorp, ChadNerdCorp, as well as on Instagram at Chad's Photo Hut. For Mark Screen, I'm Chad Porto. This has been another edition of the Wrestling Underground Top 10 Countdown Podcast Thingamabobber here on YouTube.com. And as always, Marcus, take us home.
Good night, me.